has lots of water in it. Okay, so it takes a while to break down, and if that goes to the incinerator, you burn it, and then you turn it into an ash. Lots of water means you need lots of energy to burn it, and it is already a very heavy on carbon emissions. And talking about landfill, we don't have a lot of space in Penang already, you see, and Malaysia is not a huge country anyway. If we are putting more mass into a landfill, eventually we are going to run out space for that purpose. So by reducing the waste that you generate from your household, it's going to help the environment. And really, MCO is a good chance for me to really execute my thoughts and my plan. Because before that, I need to write my thesis, I need to work in a day, I don't have time. And even weekend is already too busy for me. So MCO is really a time for me to kickstart everything. And really, I want to promote self-sufficiency, not only for people who stays in the urban area, but also for the millennials. Okay, many of us, we don't really cultivate stuff anymore. Okay, we don't touch the dirt, we don't touch the soil, and then we just go and buy things as we please. But when MCO has started, you can have a feeling of, even though you have money, there's something that you can't do with your money. Okay, the food choice that we have has been drastically reduced. If you have money, so what? Your ramen is not open. Your barbecue lamb is not open. Nasi kandar is also not open. So yeah, you kind of have to do things on your own. But what if you can grow your own thing? Okay. And also to supply some popular and beginner-friendly edible greens. For example, basil, mint, and also some tomatoes, for that matter. Okay. So the benefit of having a home garden. You get to reduce carbon footprint and your domestic waste, as I mentioned earlier. To put it simply, you get to play a small role to be environmental friendly, to save, to conserve. Okay, I reckon if more of us do rely less on the massive commercial farming, we can reduce the environmental impact generated by all these logistic stages. Okay, look at the pictures just now. To harvest, for example, a tomato from a farm and put it to Tesco, the supermarket, it has to go through so many stages, and at each stages, waste has been generated, plastics, cardboards. If we can reduce that down to having a home garden, you don't have to ship it, okay? You don't have to wrap it, you don't have to pack it in a way that makes your tomato doesn't bruise easily. Okay, so you get to reduce waste in that sense. And also, if you plant something that you can harvest anytime as you need it, you don't have to buy a whole lot and then put it onto your kitchen top or in your fridge and then watch them go bad slowly. You stop wasting even earlier. Okay, you harvest your basil as you need it. Okay. Size does not matter. Okay, many of us live in an apartment. Okay, we don't even have a balcony. Okay, I have a balcony, but not really. It's more like a air conditioning compressor's ledge. Okay, I can't even walk into my balcony. Okay, you'll see that later. I kind of have to crawl out, and it's kind of dangerous. Don't do it. But I make that happen. If you don't even have a balcony to start with, you can use your kitchen top. Having a small basil is enough to spice everything up, isn't it? You can have some great plants that are hardly being sold in the market because they are not popular, or they have a very short shelf life. Okay, so the picture over here is actually a black turmeric. You don't find it in a supermarket. You don't find it in a wet market either. Maybe you can get some from a nursery or in a kampong sometime. but I got it only from my friend who is running a farm before. You get to have full control on how you want to grow your own food. You can be very sure that you did not put any pesticide or chemicals, for that matter, that would potentially harm you in the long run. Okay, you can grow things organic. The pictures over here showing I make my own compost. Okay, from the dry leaf I pick up from the roadside, MPPP, the Majelis Bandaraya. They sweep the leaves and put it in a bag. I kind of steal them, and then put it in my car and drive away and find somewhere I can make a compost. Of course, I went to a wet market and asked for food waste or fruit waste, and then I have made that already. Oh, by the way, the one in the picture has already been done, and that was already more than 6 weeks, and they are fine, they are loomy, and they make very good soil. And it's good for your physical and mental health. You get to work out a bit. Mental stress is a real thing, especially during MCO. You are locked in the four walls of your home, and sometimes you have kids and you have your pets to deal with, and yeah, you need a way out, you see. Seeing some greens and sweating a little bit, plus the happiness when you get to harvest them, really does help to make you a happier person. All right, so you all started here. All right, as I mentioned earlier, this is only air conditioning compressor latch. Okay, I want, as much as I want you to do it at home, you don't risk your life. Okay, this is for the show, and I won't do it again, and I don't have to. All right, don't just be really careful when you have such situation like me. Okay, so raise more space. You won't think it is possible to plant something over there, but yeah, on the 28th of March, I set up this garden using just the polystyrene box, the used one, with some compost and good soil in it, and of course I planted something. And what does it look today is this. It is so lush. It is a basil forest. Okay, it even overpowers the chili I plant on the far right end. Okay, even the mint is not really showing up. The turmeric is struggling, but the basil are so happy to be there. Okay, this is the first one. I have a second balcony garden just outside of my bedroom. Okay, this is where I sleep next to. Okay, my bedroom. Outside of it is my second balcony garden already. Okay, and that happened about a few weeks ago on the 19th of April. And I planted some cinnamon basil right in the middle. And then following day, I planted some tomato seedlings. It's only the size of this, 6 inches. And Thai basil is even smaller. And today is another forest. Okay, the Thai basil is huge. And then the cinnamon basil in the middle is even bigger. They all lump together and form a little canopy over there. And on the top, the far left corner, you find some tomato, and it is already flowering. It's so happening over there. Just over 1 month is flowering already. It's so lush. And this is something wonderful, isn't it? Okay, you get to grow things even at the most impossible space you can find. So without further ado, you are here to find out my top 5 edible greens to have at home. Many of you may have already guessed it, or you already know it since a while ago. But for the benefits of beginners, okay, this is really a good choices to start your garden with. I'm going to show you my top 5 on my list and how do I use and care about them. First of all, basils. Okay, I mentioned that a few times already, and let's find out more. There are multiples. There are so many varieties of basils. Some of them we can't even find it in Malaysia. Okay, so starting from the top left and moving to a clockwise directions, I have sweet basil. Okay, this picture was taken a while ago. Okay, and now today is even bigger than that. Moving on the top right corner, I have the Thai basil. Okay, you can use that for lots of things. Bottom right is the lemon basil, and then the last one being the cinnamon basil. I will break it down a bit further. So You can do a lot of things with basil, okay? I make a fusion dish out of my Thai basil. I stir fry the minced pork with Thai basil. You can use minced chicken or beef, but usually chicken if you are going for halal options. And then I wrap it with tortilla with some tomatoes and some cheese. And then wrap it up, toast the tortilla, and then you have a very wonderful meal. Okay, it tastes really amazing. And of course, salads. I use some sweet basil, actually a lot of them, for my basil. It really spices the whole thing as it turns the salad somewhat nutty and savory. For those who don't eat a lot of greens, it's a good start. And then I get to make pesto sauce and pesto pasta later on with my fiance. And one good thing about this pesto sauce is you can freeze it and use it later on. You don't have to, do it now, but you get to use it later. And of course, you can make cookie out of it. Using cinnamon basil, my fiance has baked this wonderful cookie for her family. It does have a very sweet and unique scent, something like a cinnamon, because of a chemical compound called cinnamide. Okay, as you chew it, it releases that sweet scent to your nose. Okay, and it's wonderful. Okay, you can give it a try. And what makes basil a good choice to start your garden with is that they are very easy to propagate. You can propagate from cutting, okay, snip the stem at the right spot, right above the leaf nodes, remove the lower leaves, put it into a glass of water, and in 2 weeks' time, you see it root, like the one in the picture. Or you can get some seeds. You can buy seeds from, I don't know, Shopee or Lazada, or even you can snip off some mature flowers, dried flowers from a plant that you see. Squeeze the seed down, and then you can sow it. In 3 to 5 days, you can see little basil already. And they are quite hardy. Okay, doesn't mean that you can torment them, however, but given the right amount of care, they can withstand. Okay, and they absolutely love direct sun, 6 to 8 hours of sun, or even 10 hours if you have it. Okay, my garden is right here, the first balcony garden, and it's facing east. They get to enjoy more sun than I do because I wake up later. All right, so from 7 and 8 o'clock all the way to noontime, or even past noontime, and that's why they are so lush like a forest. Okay, give it direct sun, otherwise they will not be happy. Water them every day, but allow the water to drain freely. Okay, you don't want to have water to log at the base, especially at the saucer. Okay, otherwise it will cause root rot and it will kill your plant. Just let go of the water when there is any water logging. Okay, fertilize it with organic compost, especially the one that you make from your backyard if you have it, and especially after you harvest the leaves. Okay, it allows the plant to have enough nutrient to sprout again. And most importantly, you want to prune your basil regularly, okay, or harvest them as you do so, okay, because it is the way to keep it young. Yeah? You want to keep your basil young, otherwise the plant will mature. They start to flower. This will drain the nutrient out of it, okay? And they use the nutrient to make flowers and seeds, but not the leaves. You'll find during that stage, the leaves are much smaller and they don't taste, they are not fleshy anymore. They become yucky in a way. And then when you see the basil is flowering, it really means it is come to an old age. It will die soon. Okay, so as much as you like the flower, you want to remove them. But there are other advisors saying that you can allow your basil to grow out. Let it flower. You can keep the seeds and you can start all over again. And having lots of flowers is good for your other plants around, especially the one that fruits for you, because you want to attract some pollinators like stingless bees, honeybees, wasps, or even birds. Okay, so depends how you want to use your basil. Okay, I use my basil at the other garden as an extractant for pollinators because I plant tomato over there. I hope they will fruit soon. Moving on, we have mints. Okay, there are so many kinds of mints. I'm going to focus on two varieties over here. Most Penangite will relate mint to curry mee, the Penang white curry mee, and Assam laksa. I must say, as a Johorian, okay, I come from Kluang, Johor. I'm not a Penangite, so don't speak Hokkien to me. Okay, even though I have yellow skin, black hair, I don't speak Hokkien. Okay, I speak Mandarin or English or Malay. Okay. As a Johorian, the Penang curry meat does have a very unique flavor as you chew the mint. It's a rather interesting mix. I enjoy it, honestly. As mentioned earlier, I myself have two varieties of mint in my collections. First of all, the common mint on the top and peppermint at the bottom. Common mint is the one that you use for curry meat, Assam laksa, lots of things. And the peppermint is the one that is somewhat unique. Okay, you can use common mints for dessert, like the one I have here, yogurt with frozen berries, and the mint give it an extra spice, I would say. And you can use peppermint for your tea. Okay, peppermint is much spicier compound called menthol. Menthol, yes, you heard it, menthol. It is the chemical compound that makes Mentos. It smells like toothpaste as well. Okay, something that I can't accept with chocolate. Okay, remember, Ethan does not like chocolate with toothpaste. I mean mint. Okay, so one thing mint would do is they produce runner. Oh, before that, to care about mint is almost the same as you care about your basil. They are hardy. They love full sun. They enjoy compost and all that. But they do produce what we call the runner. Let me just one moment. This is a common mint that I reserve it for my friend. What I mean by runner is this. Okay, this is the main stem. It starts to branch off now. The runner is the one that comes from the bottom and it's somewhat skinny and it has smaller leaves. This will go around like strawberries and then it will radiate from the mother plant and it will find somewhere to plant its root and you have a lot more mint. So if you do find mint like this, you can actually cut these runner bits here, plant into the soil, and then you have a bed of mint. Not a bed of roses, a bed of mint, which smells very nice. So common mint, peppermint works the same way. They have runners, okay, and this is a very good stuff to propagate it. Oh, by the way, they propagate the same as the basil. I don't really have seeds for mint, but yes, you can use cuttings to propagate your mint. Another easy plant to start your garden would be gingers. Okay, gingers referring to all members from the ginger family, the Zingaraceae. Okay, for myself, I have a smaller place. I can't handle anything more than that. So I recommend common ginger and turmeric. If you have a backyard, you live on a landed unit, or you really want to challenge yourself, okay, just to be funny, okay, you might want to have some gelanggang or lengkuas in Malay, or even torch ginger or bunga kantan in Malay in your home, okay, but they grow so big, okay. Torch ginger's leaf can grow as high as one story or even 2 stories high. Okay, if you're living in an apartment, think about this. You can't really have it at home. Okay, they need a lot of sun as well. But if you do have a big space, I recommend you to have it for fun or for as an ornament as well. Okay, so the gingers that I have can be, you know it, they are used as spices, okay, and they have lots of medicinal values. I plant my turmerics at some other places, and then I sun dry them, I grind it into the powder, and then I use the powder to make turmeric chicken, which is very nice. Okay, give it a try. You know, find your own recipe for that. And one thing about ginger is they grow rather slow. Okay, it's not like basil or mint, they sprout like so fast in weeks. If you can see the results. For turmeric, you kind of have to wait for a while, months, okay, if not weeks. Okay, but if you have patience for that, you get to have a turmeric forest like the one in the pictures over here. Okay, they are about the height of this, more than 1 meter high. Okay, it is literally a turmeric forest. You can harvest the turmeric typically after 8 to 12 months after you first planted them. Okay, if you can't really wait, you can use the leaves. Okay, the turmeric leaves, even ginger leaves can be used as a tea. Okay, but turmeric leaves can be used, from what I heard, you can use it for rendang. I heard you can kind of cut them and then fry it with eggs, or you can wrap around your otak to give it extra flavor. It smells sweet and it tastes like that as well. Okay, when do you know it is the right time to harvest the turmeric? Like this. This is the same patch of turmeric, and the leaves has turned brown and they start to die back. Okay, that is the time when they keeping all the nutrients back to the rhizome, and that is the bit that you want to eat. Okay, if you harvest them when they're very large, you can. Okay, but this is the best time to harvest your ginger and turmeric. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, leaves can be used for some other cuisine as well. You may have already guessed it. You propagate rhizome, the rhizome, using the rhizome. Okay, you can buy the rhizome from the market and then just plant them. But how do you plant them though? I reckon you to bury the rhizomes 1 to 2 inches into the soil. Do not bury them too deep under the soil, because the rhizome, they grow horizontally, they go that way, they never go down. Okay, so if you do that, the shoot will have a very hard time to resurface the sprout, you see, and they don't really expand upwards. I mean, the rhizome don't really expand upwards. All right, so 1 to 2 inch underground, and after that, fertilize them with a layer of organic compost, and then you come back 10 months later, okay, and you have a ton of gingers or turmeric. Now, let's talk about tomatoes. Oh, no, everyone loves tomato. Or so I thought. I used to hate tomato because it tastes like, I don't know, it has a very pungent, soil-like taste. I don't know, that's for me. But now I enjoy them because, you know, I kind of have to eat vegetable for my life, even though they are literally fruits, all right? There are literally thousands of tomato varieties out there, okay? And I personally recommend you to grow the heirlooms varieties, okay? They are also called the heritage tomatoes in the UK, all right? So what are those heirlooms tomatoes? They are selected tomato varieties that has been passed down within a family, a tribal group, or even a religious group for hundreds of years. As the farmer grows them, they only crossbreed their tomatoes with the same varieties. So you can imagine, after so long, right, the tomato has only that specific characteristic, and that characteristic will be passed down only. Then they save the seeds for the next growing seasons. So as the long run, they become varieties of purebred tomatoes. Okay, they are generally much sweeter because they still have the gene that allows the tomato to fully develop in terms of sequester or to build their own sugar in the fruit. Okay, but that's a downside. They bruise easily, they crack easily. Look at the one on the top right. It kind of has a crack already. Okay, and they have generally a shorter shelf life. Okay, they're softer. It is very nice to eat, but imagine if you ship them around, it bumps in a box, and when it shows up in the shelf, it becomes yucky. Okay, so you don't find it on the supermarket very often. Okay, but since you are growing it at home, you don't have to worry about bruising them while shipping it, because you are only shipping it from your garden to your kitchen, or maybe your fridge, or sometimes straight to your mouth. Okay, unless you squeeze it, it's going to be fine. Okay, don't you can grow the typical tomatoes, but since you're growing it at home, might as well you grow heirlooms tomatoes. They are amazing. How do you propagate tomatoes though? Oh, it's easy. Okay, you can grow them from seeds. Okay, some people will even slice the tomatoes and plant it with the flesh while the seed is still in the flesh. Okay, the flesh will decompose, and then it feeds the seed, and then the seeds will sprout, will germinate. I don't like that method because there are lots of seeds within the flesh, and they all jumble up, and it's really hard for me to separate them and plant them singly later on. Okay, so for me, I will take the seeds out, and then I plant them in a small pot, and if I can, I keep a distance between the seeds so that they are not crowded together. I hate that. Okay, and you can also plant them, propagate them from sucker. What does it mean by sucker? Okay, it's not an insult to any human. It's a plant terminology. Okay, banana has sucker as well. Sucker for tomato is any horizontal branch that fork out at a 45-degree angle from the main branch over there. Okay, you can see between the branch. Okay, the one is the bigger one that goes vertically is the main branch, and the bigger branch at the bottom is actually a leaf, and the one in the middle is the sucker. Okay, I recommend you to take that off as the tomato grow, because it sucks away nutrient to grow more leaves than fruit. Okay, you can take that thing off, put it into a glass of water, and it will root already. But that only applies to the indeterminate varieties. Most heirlooms are indeterminate tomatoes. What does it mean? All right. Well, indeterminate tomatoes grow as a vine, while determinate tomatoes grow as a shrub. Okay. The indeterminate varieties, as the name suggests, will keep growing and growing and keep producing fruits until they decided to die, or the nature takes them. Okay, you got so sick you can't produce anymore and they die. Okay, so it doesn't have a determinate lifespan, hence indeterminate. The determinate varieties, however, as I mentioned, they grow as a shrub. They will produce all the fruits at once, and they die. Okay, most of the tomato varieties that you can find on the market are likely to be indeterminate, but you kind of have to find out from the seed packet. Okay. Tomato flowers roughly after 70 to 80 days after you sow the seed. Okay, at least for my case. Okay, and this is a time that you should fertilize gently. Okay, not like a whole lot, with compost every 2 weeks until you harvested the fruits. Okay, you need a lot of effort. You need some patience to it. All right. In areas that you have less pollinators, like me over here on the 8th floor of my apartment, I do get some stingless bees, but if you go a little higher, you don't have lots of insects anymore. Okay, you might want to consider hand pollinating your flowers. Okay, using a brush, transfer the pollen to another flower, that easy. Okay, as you have some fruit, you might want to cover up the fruit because birds can get to them before you. Last but not least, you have sweet potatoes. Okay, I'm a little reluctant to put this on to my list, but there are reasons why I do so. Hey, you may think, hey, isn't sweet potato a very easy food crop to have? You're right. Okay, that's the whole point of being here, right? There are lots of varieties as well. You have purple skin with yellow flesh, purple skin with purple flesh, and orange flesh, and so on. Okay, there's endless varieties of sweet potatoes. The reason why, the top reason why I put this onto my list is they are staple food. Okay, you can use the tuber as your carbohydrates. You can use the leaves as your dietary fibers. Okay, simply bury the tubers and then wait for 7 to 10 months before you can harvest some tubers. Okay, or you can use the leaves as stir fry. All right. They love crumbly, loose, rich with organic matters kind of soil. Okay, if your soil is hard, like a very clayey soil, the tuber will be forced to grow closer to the surface. If you're growing on an apartment like this, you'll be fine. But if you are growing on a landed unit, pests like rodents will make use of this situation. Okay, bury them and use crumbly, loose soil rich with organic matter. You do have to water them every day, okay? If you want to plant it into only a big pot like I am. If I don't water my sweet potato, after only 1 day, the leaf you will not be happy. They will wilt. And then, yeah, you don't want that to happen. You want sweet potatoes, or at least you want to eat the leaves. Okay, otherwise, they won't be so happy and they won't have tubers for you. Before I end this session, allow me to show you some plants that I have over here. All right. This is the cinnamon basil that I have. This will go on sale. Okay. It does have a very funny and sweet cinnamon smell. Tomatoes. This is a green zebra variety. Okay, you can Google that. It does looks like a green zebra, if that's a thing. And this length is about 6 to 8 inches. I grow them from seed. This is the right time, at least from my point of view, is good for transplanting into your garden already. Okay, you don't have to keep it for any longer. This will go on sales as well. And if you do want to keep gingers as ornamental, yes, you can. Now, this little cute plant over here is not a grass, okay? This is galangal, lengkuas. I grow it from seed, okay? It's a funny story. I put some lengkuas or galangal seeds on my pot. After a few months, there's nothing. Okay, oh, I might as well use the pot for something else. And growing something else, I did. And later on, I start to find small grass like this to germinate. And then I realized, oh, that is actually galangal, lengkuas. And then, yeah, I transplanted some of them. And then, yeah, one of them being in this little pot. Okay, yeah, it's a good ornament. Even turmeric can be an ornament as well. Okay, let's put this thing aside. Let me show you this. This is my black turmeric. Okay, it's the same one I've shown earlier. That one has died back before, and within this few weeks, it has grown to this lush, huge turmeric plant already. Okay, so yes, it's a wonderful ornament. But again, it will kind of die back after, I don't know, 10 months. So yeah, just be patient and it will come back again. How beautiful is that? It does have the red veins over here. Talking about germinating seeds. These are my basil. You see how I use the egg tray as a seedling tray. I don't have to buy it. Okay, you see how stingy I am. Okay, I pick up trash. Anyway, these are purple basil. Okay, I bought the seeds and I germinated it, which are pretty good. Once they grow bigger, this will go on sales as well. This will be my fifth varieties of basil that goes into my collection. Last but not least, tomatoes. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, you do germinate tomatoes from seeds, and usually after 1 week they will sprout. Okay, all of them are heirlooms tomatoes. Right, so these are my top 5 lists of easy plants that you should be having it at home. What's your list? Okay, tell us. Okay, what's your top 5 list? Maybe I want to update my top 5 list soon. So that's all from me. Thank you for hearing me out, and thank you for Calvin for allowing me to share this wonderful sessions. I hope you enjoyed it. So we can go into Q&A sessions. And Calvin, you might want to carry on.
Yes, hi Ethan. All right. Earlier you did ask me to create the polling question. Do you want me to reveal it now? Like,
you may do it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So guys. So basically, we'll be launching a few polls to get your opinions on certain things. All right. Before I do receive a few Q&A as well from the participants on both Facebook and the Zoom chat. So we will go into that shortly. So if you guys can see the first polling, is what plants do you like to have at home the most? So you can actually choose them. And later on, I will actually share the results to everyone to see it. Yeah, so you can actually vote it now. Yeah. So like Ethan, like a few just now, Ethan has shared it. So these are most of the plants that can be easily planted at home. Yeah. But if you have any other that is not mentioned in the polling, you can put it as others as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to put it down in the comments and let us know what kind of plants you're actually looking for. Okay.
Okay, so we have another 10 seconds before the result is reviewed.
I know they can be pandan, they can be, I don't know, chakor, or they can be any other things. Okay, that I do have a pandan over here, but there is an ornaments instead of an ingredients that I use.
All right, so these are the results being shared by over 52 people earlier. So yeah, most of them, as you can see, most of them prefer to choose basils. Yeah. All right, which is good. And okay, there's a second questions as well. Okay. Wait, sorry. Okay, the second question is all right, the second question is being asked is that how would you like to start your home garden with? So of course, from just now being shared, of course there's a few ways that are being shared by Ethan. So we'd like to know from the audience, how would you like to start your home garden with after hearing his session? Yeah. Okay. All right, we give you another 5 seconds. So I believe you guys should know what is cutting is, the seed and the potted plants because we have shared it earlier. Okay, all right. So right now, let's just end. Okay, and the result, of course, most go for potted plants. Yeah, Ethan, you have anything to comment on that?
It's a very convenient way to start a kitchen garden, isn't it? Put it there you have it. Okay, it's fine, but it's really fun to start your garden with cuttings and seeds as well. You get to see them grow like a little baby.
Okay, all right. So so that's all for the moment for the polling, and so back to the Q&A. So one of the Q&A questions that I have with me for you, Ethan. It's hold on, let me just write it here.
I'm watering my plant.
Okay, Ethan. All right. So one of the things being shared is like earlier you said that about the ginger turmeric, it takes about long time, which is 8 to 12 months.
That's right.
For first growth. Or what about the second growth? Would it be longer as well, or how is it like for ginger?
It will be roughly be the same. Okay, from my past experience, what happened last time when you see it, as you can see in the pictures, okay, I harvested once and then I replanted it back already. Okay, I haven't got a chance to visit those turmeric. It's somewhere on in Aitam area. Okay, but they will take the same. As you harvest the turmeric, you put everything out, right? They are there are lots of rhizome, and you want that bit that looks like a finger. Okay, let's say this is the heart of it, and it grows sideways, and maybe you have a few more. Okay, so this is a part that you want to harvest. Okay, you leave the mother, okay, in the soil. Okay, you put it back. Okay, they will grow. It will grow again, roughly taking the same time. I would say. Good
Okay.
question.
So
That's
it
for
would,
the turmeric. That's for turmeric. For ginger, you can just take everything and replant it as you wish.
let's see, for example, right now there's a lot of like, let's just say there's a lot of surplus. How to say, there's a lot of supply of ginger or turmeric in the market. Do you think that the large of supply is due to like people using chemical fertilizer to boost the supplies, or how is it like? Because if it's, let's say, taking 8 to 12 months, there will be a sufficient of ginger in the market. Is that correct?
This is a very interesting question. I myself not sure how do they grow commercially, but as a home garden, I'm not. My friend has a farm somewhere in Aitam. They do grow gingers, and I have not seen them using any sort of chemicals. Nor you actually need it as well, unless you have wild boars. Okay, that doesn't that is not killed by pesticide or herbicide because they
Mm-hmm.
will uproot everything. Um, as a farmer, they will plan their harvest accordingly, so you don't have to plant all of them at once. And once they have been uprooted, you have nothing left. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there should be stages.
All right, stages. Okay, got it. Okay, so another questions being asked is that can we get sampling for vegetable plants such as tomato, eggplant anywhere in Penang, or can we buy them fully grown? Yeah.
I do have some tomato myself. Eggplants. Actually, I'm not really sure whether there's a place you can find vegetable sapling like this. I only sometimes see like chilies in nursery, but other than that, no, I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So other than that, you haven't seen it. It's like what about like there's one at the youth park at Botanical Garden. Is that the same as well?
You're referring that to the ESH. No, I haven't seen it, but you can find like bastils, Thai basil, thyme, rosemary, and all that. But for eggplants and tomatoes, honestly, I haven't seen it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, understood. And another questions we have it here as well is that what are the proposed way of starting seeds and protecting the seedlings? And currently, he's trying to start tomato, capsicum, okra, lettuce, but many of the seeds don't sprout. Is it probability? Is this because of a probability base, meaning that the seed from a packet may just simply fail? Yeah. Do you
Okay,
get? Do you
right.
get?
Since you have mentioned it, might as well show this again. All right, so I just watered it, so don't mind it going all over the place. Let me come closer. All right, I hope you can see me. So what I did here is I cut the egg tray into half. well, not this way, but this way. Right, let me lift this thing up. So you can see there are two parts, okay? The top part is the one that has the individual cells. I put a hole through it so that the water can drain, okay? And this is the part that collects the excess water because you don't want the water with some soil to go everywhere in your kitchen, for example, okay? Right. So this is how I do it. You can buy seedling tray, but this is how I do it because it saves money. I'm cheapskate in a way. So I use seedling soil. I think seedling soil has a lot to do with how successful is your um, germinations. Okay, I'm using the Baba one. I'm making my own seed starter and I'm going to try it out soon. Okay, because usually the seed starter soil, they have been treated in a way, I don't know, using heat, okay, for example, to kill whatever bad bacteria that is within it, so the seed will not be infected with those fungi or bacteria. So the seedling starter has a lot to do with it. There you go. And put it next to your window, for example, not direct sun. Okay, it's not good for the young tender plants to experience full sun. Okay, they will dry out so fast you don't have a chance to even water it to bring it back to life.
Okay, all right. So I have a question right now regarding about the egg carton. So if how long does it take for the seed to actually grow in that egg carton? Yeah.
To grow what?
How long do you let the seeding grow in that egg carton based on the just now that you showed us? How long does it usually take?
Depends on what kind of plants you're doing and how hardworking you are. Okay, because sometimes you have lot, never mind, let it grow. It's okay. Um, for tomatoes, maybe 4 to 6 inches, then you can transplant them into a smaller pot. For basil, it's likely to be the same.
Like just now you shared us one earlier, earlier you shared us a plant, like where you're going to transfer them into the garden. Yeah, that plant.
Tomato?
Yeah.
I've transferred the seedlings into this little poly bag here while it was about 4 or 6 inches. Allow it to grow, and I think this is way over 10 inches already. It is good to be planted into the garden already.
Okay. So usually, so in short, from what you said is that usually about 4 to 6 inches, it's where from the egg carton for tomatoes only. Okay, for others?
For basil, it's about the length like this as well, about 4 to 6 inches. Or when you think, from my experience, there's a point that they grow quite a bit of leaves. And if you don't water it for one day, okay, the root system becomes so extensive, they take lots of water away from the soil, and then they start to dry out. Okay, that will be the good indicator telling you, okay, I need a bigger place, more soil, more water, so I can grow. Okay, so, and really to a point which, just let me do this, to a point which, let's say it's already 6 inches, and the leaf system is quite extensive. And if you look at the bottom, okay, one good thing about this is you get to see the bottom. All of these things will be kind of white color. The roots has filled up the whole place. So you can just push this thing from the bottom, and at the same time use the other hand to hold the stem at the bottom gently, not too hard. By doing these actions, you can lift the whole sapling up. That will be really the indicator of, okay, it's good for transplanting already. I do have some basil which is doing just that, but I can't leave this station. It's in the other balcony.
Okay, okay. And also another question as well, it's that how do you dry the turmeric before making the powder? Is it in the sun, oven, or air dry? Like just now the picture that you share.
Good question. I sun dry it, but apparently I should be doing one more step. Of course, after washing the turmerics, I should um, boil it with water, cook it with water, and then only I dice them up before um, I put it under the sun. I skip the step of cooking the turmeric. Okay, I don't find that is necessary, but apparently by cooking the turmeric, it makes it soft and easier to ground later. So that's why if you look at the slides earlier, you still see some larger pieces of turmeric, and that is likely to be the reason why.
Okay. Okay. Understood. All right. And so that's how you so that's how the turmeric powder is
Right.
being made. Okay.
Right.
And
Oh,
another question is that if we plant it at the compressor balcony when aircon is on, will the heat from the compressor affect the plant? Or are we supposed to omit using the air conditioning? Yeah.
No, I don't think you should you should do that. You shouldn't let the hot air to keep blowing it. It dries the plant very quickly, and the heat is likely to kill it. For me, I do put my plants over here. The sweet potato is actually right here, and some other little plants. I do put them on top of the compressor. It's not like you actually should be doing it, okay? But it's away from the heat.
Okay. So that's how you do it. Yeah. Because if the heat is there, then the plant will be like evaporation. It's like all the
You
water
can
will
use
be evaporated.
Yeah, you can use that to dry your turmeric. You see.
Mm-hmm. Another method. Okay, that's good. And another question here is that how do you keep rats from injecting their egg into or eggs or larvae into your tomatoes?
Sorry, come again.
Yeah, how do you keep webs? You know the webs from injecting their eggs into the tomatoes. Wasps.
The wasp.
Yeah, wasps.
Okay. You can use the mesh. You can find them on Shopee or Lazada. The one that a mesh like a net. Okay, but it's really a bag. You can put your tomato or mango or something, and then there's some strings over there. You can just zip it, and yeah, you can prevent that. Hopefully, you can prevent that. But if the wasps are larger, they can easily puncture that. So you may want to cover it up or grow enough of them. Okay, so that one or two being sacrificed is fine. But it really depends on what kind of wasps you're talking about. Okay, because to me, wasps are actually beneficial insects because they go around and kill other pests for you. They are predators. They hunt like caterpillars or whatnot and chew them into a meatball before they bring it back to feed their baby. Yeah, don't want to imagine that, okay, but that's how beneficial they are. You are likely to talk about the gall wasps. They should be much smaller, but again, try the exclusion method using a mesh.
Mesh. There are some people also use newspaper, if not mistaken, to actually wrap it. Do you encourage that when they are
Depends on
almost ripe? Yeah.
when you are hardworking enough, then yes, yeah, by all means. And but the thing about newspaper is that what if it rains?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then it will
Yeah,
affect the whole thing. So mesh is still advisable.
it will be a much sustainable way. I would say, give it a try. I wish I can grow enough tomato now because it's flowering, but I've already bought the mesh, so I'm eager to try it out. But my problem over here is likely to be birds. There are lots of birds over here. Asian glossy starlings, miners, crows. Sometimes you have black-naped oriole, lots of them.
Okay. So talking about the pest earlier, if like the bees you said, so if you're staying high up, there will be no bees pollinating your plants. So you have to do earlier you mentioned that you have to do your self-pollination, like the brush something.
Yeah, hand pollinations. Unfortunately, yeah.
Hand pollination. So what's your advice on to ensure that the hand pollination is successfully done? Yeah.
If you're talking about tomatoes, you want to cross between different individuals. Okay, you can use a brush. That's for one. And tomatoes can actually, from what I heard, is that you wind can help them to pollinate as well. So that's why you want to shake the flowers using your finger. Sometimes even the electric toothbrush vibrates to help the flower to shake a bit of pollen, and hopefully it will get to another plant. But hand pollinating anything from one plant to another.
Understood. Okay, and also another question here is that where can we get heirloom tomato seeds from?
You can buy them online. I do have some. Okay, you can message me later.
Okay, nice. And how
In
much
fact,
time? How much time do
Calvin,
you? Yeah.
just a bit more. As I was drinking water. Sorry. We are going to start. We're going to launch a new product, which is the seed starter pack. Okay, heirlooms tomatoes will be featured.
Hmm?
So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Heirloom tomato. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, how much time do you spend daily on taking care of the plants?
If you're talking about watering, I don't know, 10 minutes.
10 minutes a day.
10 minutes. But if you're talking about pruning and all that, well, they don't all have a problem at once. Okay, let's say, okay, this basil is flowering. Okay, let's do away the flowers. Oh, you should harvest the sweet basil today. You can do it anytime. Yeah, depends on what activities you are looking for. For me, I would take sometimes longer because I propagate the basil, for example, from cuttings, and at some point they grow enough roots, and then I need to transplant them into the soil, and then mixing the soil and watering, putting holes into it, and put the plants in it do take some time. In that case, I will take about 2 hours.
2 hours. So it's like 2 hours in a different parts of the day, or one shot.
One shot.
One shot. Okay. All right. And also another one is that another question being thrown here. It's that which plant is free from creepy crawlies? Yeah, creepy
Free
crawlies.
from creepy crawlies. Which plant is free from creepy crawlies?
Would
Hmm.
ginger be the one? Because I feel like ginger.
Um, if you're talking about like grasshoppers, sometimes I do see them, but at this level, I don't see any creepy crawlies attacking my plants. Something that will be free from any sort of pests. Even the yam, the ornamental yam has some sort of pest. So I suppose for my experience, uh, all of them has some sort of problems. Maybe rosemary has none, but I'm not sure. But other issue will kill rosemary before the insects or any other creepycrawlies kills it. That is root rotting because I water them too much. Really, any plants is natural enemies. So there are some plants that are immune from that, but I can't think of it from the top of my head.
Okay, understood. All right, so we will take in another last two questions. So because the time is almost out already, so the last two questions. One of them is that for planting in an apartment and planting veggies, how deep does the pot need to be for the roots to grow well? Yeah.
If you are talking about romaine lettuce, their roots don't go too deep. Okay, the lettuce is about this high. Maybe the roots is around here. Okay, they never go to, I don't know, 3 feet. Okay, so a polystyrene box like I have over here will suffice.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, it's about 1.5 to 2 feet deep. But yeah, that will be more than enough to plant. Really, if you are going to plant a durian tree, it is not possible. Okay, you can have a sapling, but not enough to bear fruits. But basils and all that, yeah, it's realistic for this environment.
Okay. Then the last question is okay, the last question is here. It's that one person asked is that why haven't you planted Brazilian spinach? Yeah.
Why I haven't planted that?
Yeah, Brazilian spinach.
Okay, I know this is a very popular stuff. Okay, I was added into, well, I introduced myself into to a WhatsApp group, and they are talking about Brazilian spinach, the Bayam Brazil. Okay, I personally don't use it. Maybe I haven't find myself to use it, and that brings me to one point. I plant what I use, to put it simply, or what I like. If okay, I haven't find myself liking that plant that much. I may, but I'm not sure. If you like it, please do it. Kevin?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Another question. The last one we take in is that what about avocados? Do you think that is also easily to be planted at home?
You know the way that you germinate avocado with a cup, toothpick, and then put it in the water, and then hopefully it will root and sprout. For myself, I have a rather high failure rate. The reason why is those avocado are likely to be sterile, because if everyone can access to avocado seed that easily, then the avocado farms will go bankrupt. Okay, they need to make money, and in fact, lots of fruits that we have in the market, their seeds are likely to be sterile because, I don't know, genetic engineering, and because otherwise everyone can grow avocados, mangoes, and all that, and they will go bankrupt. So there are ways to modify the genetics, and make the seeds sterile. And for me, I do have a rather high failure rate by doing so. One or two has survived, and I planted one into the soil. They're about this high now, and I don't know how long it will take to first fruit. And in fact, many of these avocados, should it survive to become a big tree, they are only as good as a root stock. They don't really produce fruit. As I say, they are sterile. And the only good thing about that is you can graft the fertile branch of avocado onto that root stock. In fact, there are farms in the Americas, Central Americas, that they use the same root stocks for hundreds of years. So they just put the plant on top of it, and it will use the existing root system and hopefully sprout the avocado trees.
All right. Okay. All right. Understandable. Okay. And yeah, so we come to an end of the session. So Ethan, do you have any last few words to actually share it to the audience, or tips, or how they can get in touch with you? Yeah.
So do follow us on Instagram, Self Sufficient Penang. Okay, my fiance is replying now, and you can find us on Facebook. But at this moment, you find our Facebook page as EP Hobbyist, hobby, and then hobby, and then IST. Okay, the link is up here. Okay, because we are in the midst of rebranding my then Facebook page. It doesn't allow me to rename it, but soon enough, I will find a way to get around it. Okay, it's not like I want to find a new, I want to establish a new Facebook page. I want to use it as it is. So keep in touch. See you on Facebook, EP Hobbies, or on Instagram, self-sufficient.penang.
Okay. All right. Okay. And thank you so much, Ethan, for yeah.
Sorry, Kevin. This is one way this is only the ways to connect myself. And
Okay.
to the last piece of advice, really, you don't have to be greedy to have everything in your gardens. As I mentioned earlier in this session, you can't grow certain things. You can't grow rice, for example. You don't have to be so greedy that you want to be self-sufficient in everything. You don't have to get out of the house for 1 year. Okay, you can make your own wine. You make your own soy sauce. You make your own vinegars. Okay, it's really hard to do that, but you can always be self-sufficient in something. Starting little, just making little steps like this. That's all for me, Alvin.
Right. Thank you so much, Ethan, for the departing words. It's very insightful for us for you to share on
Can we
tonight.
continue the poll?
And yeah, and also so everyone, so every Saturday we will be having a different speaker speaking on a platform to add value to more of us, because at the end of the day, I believe that in order for us to create a greater green changes in the society, and also at the same time to add to create more green leaders out there, we need more and more and more, how to say, we need more of us out there to be a role model for your neighbors, or to be even your role model for your friends, to look up to you so that they can create a greater green changes. In order for us to change the world, we must not act alone, but rather we must act as a community, having the same vision to create a self-sustainable world, to create a sustainable future and also a greener future. That all has to come from the community effort. I believe that at the end of the day, great changes can come from the community when we work as a team. And yep, so thank you everyone. So yep, so Ethan has wants me to launch the last poll here. All right, so you can actually vote. So I will share to Ethan privately later. All right, so this is the last one. And also you can actually vote here. Yeah. Okay, so that Ethan can actually so this question that being shown here is that so that Ethan can actually improve his so that Ethan can improve from the feedback, and also at the same time to make it more beautiful for others to be engaged with it. Yeah.
If you are not a millennial, doesn't mean that you don't vote over here. Okay, you can still do it.
Yeah. And also earlier for the slides, I will get from Ethan, and I'll share everyone through the email that we have received. So everyone has also have access to the link as well, and yeah, and the context to Ethan. Yep.
Thanks, Calvin.
Okay. And yep, and yeah, so that's all from us. If you have any questions, please do go to the Instagram page, Ethan Instagram page or his Facebook to know more about it. And thank you everyone. Thank you for being the green heroes that Malaysia need, and thank you so much for being the green hero that the world needs in days to come, because the earth is so critical right now, and we are the future, and we can change, and nothing is impossible. Thank you. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Okay, so start planting and always be self-sufficient in something. See you guys.